Well, good morning, kids. How is everybody doing? I hope you're doing okay. I have my coffee. I hope you have yours too. Welcome to another episode of The Abyss Morning Edition. I am, of course, your host, The Eternal Abyss. And I cannot hear myself. What's going on? Hold on. Hello? Yes. Oh, okay. I can hear myself now. Yeah, today's the 50th episode of the morning version of The Abyss. I've been doing this in the morning for at least 50 times now. I did not plan an extravaganza or any sort of gala or anything like that. I've been reading up chat here just as I was coming in with my coffee. Yeah, you know, I could do that about Savannah Guthrie. I wouldn't be wrong. No, Rorschach. No, I took that down today because for some reason my Discord overlay is completely borked. I don't know why. So I figure it's either have Rorschach without a face or Rorschach with a weird overlay. So I don't know. I mean, if chat wants Rorschach, I can put him back up. You guys want him back? I mean, it's up to you guys. I'm gonna let chat. This is special because it's the 50th episode. I'll let chat decide. So chat, let me know what you want to do. And while you're deciding on that, hello everybody on all the different platforms that I'm on. I want to say hello to everybody on, of course, Bitwave, which I've been interacting with already. I want to say hello to everybody on all the other platforms that I'm on, such as Periscope, Float.app, DLive, YouTube, as well as Twitch. Hello, and I hope you have your coffee. Because, I mean, without caffeine, the whole show just, it wouldn't work. You want Dr. Manhattan's crotch with a blinky dot over it? I'll have to source that first. We'll see. I saw that, Mark. I saw that. One moment. I have a semi-important thing happening right now on a call. I'm not particularly involved in the call, but I gotta be on standby to send stuff over if I need to, and I just got that here. So give me 2 seconds to take care of this. I apologize. Unfortunately, these are things that need to be taken care of outside of what I do here. Real life can be a real drag. Just saying. Let's see here. Okay, I just gotta send a quick email. I know, doing stuff on stream, how professional. Oh goodness. Alright, here we go. And sent. Alright, see, that was quick and painless, wasn't it? There we are. To the Abyssmobile. No. Oh geez, I wish I got a call from the White House. That would be amazing. I would love something like that. That would be fun. But I saw the tweet and I saw that Trump retweeted it and everybody's losing their minds over that. Some people are commenting that just shows how unhinged Trump is, or that he believes fake satirical news. You know what my take is on that whole thing? When satirical news, I mean, there's two takes you can look at it. Now, some people are saying, well, it's obviously he's joking. Some people are saying that. I don't know if he's joking, because I've been almost tempted to retweet Babylon Bee for a split second. It appears to be real news to me sometimes because of how well it's written and how absurd real life has become. So that's really the takeaway from me. I mean, I believe it's perfectly possible for someone to make a mistake of that kind. So hey, hetero alpha gods, shalom, sir. So I believe it's possible that Trump just honestly retweeted it because he thought it was a legit news article, and I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't even blame Obama if Obama did that. To be honest with you, I wouldn't blame anybody for it because I've almost done that. I think I actually tweeted. I did retweet at one point one Babylon Bee article and immediately realized, oh wait a minute, this is satire. This is just a Babylon Bee. Because I saw the headline, I was like, oh my god, and I retweeted and I said something, I was like, oh wait a minute, this is Babylon Bee, and I had to delete it because I was like, ah, my bad. It happens. It happens. And the thing is, it's perfectly believable that Twitter would pull some stunt like that. That is the real takeaway. That is the real takeaway from all this. But there was some issues with Twitter last night. It got borked after this whole nonsense, and I figured... And I mentioned this, I think I mentioned this on stream. Maybe I didn't, but I thought about it at least. I did think that Twitter was doing some sort of update. To update their policy and update some stuff. I think he knew it's comedy, yeah. Hold on, let me read what Mark is saying here. Let me zoom in, because I'm a boomer. When I saw that Twitter was down, I figured it was 2008 again, and it was time to see this fail whale for a bit. Yeah, take it all down! Take it all down! We've updated our user agreement. I don't think it requires taking down the entire Twitterverse to update the end user agreement. I think that this is the thing for me, okay? As a developer, when I see stuff like that, it's very suspicious to me. Because okay, I'm sorry. This thing is this thing that I'm dealing with is escalating. One moment. Oh, they actually put up a change log. Well, that's interesting. Excuse me one moment. Enjoy the music here. I'm gonna have to step away just for a moment to take care of this real quick, so please stand by. Okay. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Like I said, I'm dealing with something right now. And I have people that are on a phone call for me that are taking care of certain things, and they require certain documents every so often. So I may get interrupted again. I hope not. I hope this is good. Britt Bong caused Twitter to go down because Superhound was DDoSing Twitter to keep him from streaming. Okay. That's interesting. Well, it's not. I'm not on the call. It's like someone else is on the call for me. So if they don't need me anymore, I'm good. But if they need me to send some other documents, I may need to take another quick break. But I haven't checked the Twitter change log. I have not looked at that. So I have to see what the change log is for that. I don't know, but as a developer, the thing to me is this. I find it very interesting. They've retired endpoints. Gee, the timing seems very strange that they decided to do that right at this time. It's a staged rollout. Well, I mean, it may be a staged rollout, but it seems very strange to me that that's exactly when they would time it when this whole thing hit the fan. I don't know. I find it very strange, and to me, that's the thing, that the timing is very odd. I read that. I understand, but I'm saying the timing to me is strange. It is odd timing. That's a good possibility. They accidentally DDoS themselves. That's hilarious. Oh my god. Hold on, let's see if I need anything else here. 1 second. Is that just my app being silly? Seems like it's just the app being silly. I think I'm all good right now. Refresh this just to double check and be sure. This is not... the heck? This is misbehaving. Okay, there we go. Now it updated properly. Good. Okay. So... Sorry about that. I got interrupted again. So let's see here. Oh boy, what a crazy morning. All right, so let me try and focus on the stream here because this is what we're here for, right? So, for those that were under a rock, obviously yesterday there were the two town halls. I have not looked over um the Biden town hall yet. I did see that the New York Times put out like this fact checking thing. I don't know how accurate it was, but being the New York Times, you can't trust them at all. So I'm not going to even really entertain that so much. Um like let me give you an example of some fact checking from the New York Times. This is why you can't really trust the New York Times. So Trump said people are leaving New York by the thousands, and you're gonna have a hard time ever building it up again. And then they say, well, this lacks evidence. Actually, it doesn't. If you look at the demographic changes that have been happening in New York, and even Cuomo himself was begging people to come back, you have had a large number of people leave. And it's not just a handful. This isn't just like maybe a couple hundred. You've had a big drop in the number of population that of New York. Now there hasn't been a census, so you can't. So maybe this lacks evidence, quote unquote, is somewhat accurate. For example, for the New York Times, but at the same time, this just shows you the kind of fact checking that the New York Times does. Let's continue. They say Trump said, "I denounce white supremacy" during the first debate. They say this is misleading. He said yes. He said sure. He denounced it because there was a constant over talking because Chris Wallace wouldn't even let him talk. So to even label this as quote misleading is in it and of itself misleading. The New York Times is shit. Let's just put that out there. That's really what it boils down to. Gosh, this stupid. Hold on, let me just see if this. I need to resolve this thing here. This is very disruptive. So, anyways, the New York Times. This is the problem that I have with the New York Times. They have a personal agenda that they want to do, that they want to push. Great. Um. So this is just ridiculous from the New York Times. I don't. It's not even worth reading. Checking their fact checking. Like that's why I hadn't even looked at them. But let me check one other thing here that I was gonna look into. Um, Another thing that came up actually pretty funny to me in the news trending today was the fact that Mr. Rogers is trending because someone that worked for Trump said that, you know, watching the Biden town hall was like watching an episode of Mr. Rogers. Now everybody's like, so you're saying that Mr. Rogers is bad and, you know, everybody loved Mr. Rogers. Why would you criticize Mr. Rogers? Like, nobody's criticizing Mr. Rogers. It's just pointing out that, I mean, let's face it, as much as everybody, or most everybody, loved Mr. Rogers episodes weren't the height of excitement. I mean, you have to be honest here. They were not the height of excitement. They weren't full of energy. So it's not a negative thing. It's not a dunk on Mr. Rogers to say that the Biden's town hall was like watching an episode of Mr. Rogers. It's a dunk on Biden because the guy is Sleepy Joe. The guy has no energy. Guthrie's an idiot. See, this is the problem, and I wanted to actually address this because, see, to me, the issue isn't interrupting so much, and the issue isn't challenging people. My issue is level of professionalism while doing that. Mr. Rogers did have a fucking train, that's true. So, and Mr. Trolley, I remember Mr. Trolley. And King Friday. I love King Friday. Mr. Rogers, yeah, he passed away. So to me, I like this whole fact that Twitter is trying to push that as a dig on Mr. Rogers is probably the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's really a stretch. It's really a stretch. It's grasping for straws and trying to find a critique on Trump and his campaign. So, but like I said, I do want to address these moderators. As I was saying, to me, interrupting isn't the problem. And wanting to push candidates on their answers and push back or hold their feet to the fire, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what a reporter should be doing. And I talked about this last night a little bit with how Anderson Cooper had a town hall in 2016 with Trump. Ice Cube. Yeah. Ice Cube is now working with Trump after he was very much anti-Trump. So that's very interesting. Because you got paid. Hey, money talks, baby. What's going on with this? Oh, nah, I don't want to get a copyright strike. I'm not gonna do that right now. But I find it very fascinating. That you have reporters who, I mean, I'm not a fan of Anderson Cooper. By all means, Anderson Cooper is not a good reporter. Let's just be clear on this. Anderson Cooper is not a good reporter. I don't think he's a good TV personality. I don't think he does a good job generally, but he has his moments. And one of his moments was this 2016 town hall with Donald Trump, where it was not openly hostile. Did he question Trump on stuff? Sure. Did he push back on certain things? Sure. And did he actually make it enjoyable to watch? Yes. Can we have a YouTube Copyrights Explained show? I wish I could do a show on that. But unfortunately, YouTube itself doesn't know what their copyright rules are. Yeah, I need to keep it under 10 seconds of sampling. Well, maybe. I don't know. I'd rather just, and I agree, Hetero Alpha God. I'd rather not have to worry about being jannied by platforms and just play, do whatever I want. But right now, I'd rather just go with my stream, talk about what I want to talk about, and not have to worry about that sort of thing. That's all. Well, they've been coming out with some information about this platinum deal or whatever it's called. It runs in 15-second blocks. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Well, it seems like even with royalty-free stuff, though, but that's the problem, Dispatch. Even with royalty-free stuff, my music that I have running in the background now and what I use in the morning when I'm the pre-roll, I got a copyright notice on that. And it was royalty-free. Because I'm using it as a temporary archive, mostly. And I just want to see, it's more just to have. I don't really promote YouTube. I don't really push it. I don't really try to get engagement on there. I just want to see what kind of organic growth happens from there. And it's a good way for me to kind of have my thumb on the pulse of what the hell YouTube is doing. Of course, Dispatch. A notice is very different from a strike. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, I get some engagement on YouTube, and Sold Out has started telling me that now I'm actually getting into people's his recommended video list. So apparently, slowly but surely, I'm creeping my way up the ass of YouTube. So there's a little bit of engagement that's happening there on YouTube. Not a lot. Not a lot at all. Because I don't really play by their rules. That's the thing. Plus, there's really not much going on in my videos anyways. It's just mostly me talking. It's a podcast. In a way, it's like a radio show, but you can't even see me, so it's not, I don't know. I think that's the problem with platforms like YouTube, is that I don't get a whole lot of engagement for that reason. Well, you know, I don't even want to care to deal with that sort of stuff, Dispatch. I usually just do my own thing. I just talk about politics. I ignore YouTube for the most part. Well, I'm not just streaming on YouTube though. That's the thing. I'm streaming on 5 or 6 different platforms, so that's why I'd rather keep it all within certain bounds. Also, because I want to keep it accessible to everybody. I don't want to have such a niche stream that it makes it difficult to engage different types of audiences. Let's put it that way. But the reason why I'm worrying about it, Dispatch, is because even with royalty-free music, I have gotten a copyright notice. The flip-flop wearing part you could say on YouTube. The other part, no. Vaughn.live? What is Vaughn.live? I don't even know. Oh, it's another streaming platform? Maybe, but the problem is I can't do too many custom stuff. Restream does not support too many custom stuff unless I have to like completely redo my own custom restreamer, which I don't plan on doing anytime soon. Yeah, but I have a license to use the royalty-free music, and there should be no copyright notice at all. Well, I'm sorry, if YouTube is retarded, that's not my fault, though. If they don't understand the concept of how royalty-free music works, and they're forcing me to use their shit, that's very revealing to me on how idiotic YouTube is. That's it. That's really what it boils down to. Thank you for that on YouTube, nice stone lady. Much appreciated. Engagement! YouTube engagement! What I'm saying is that even when I'm following their rules, that's what I'm saying. Even if I'm following their rules, they still janny me. They still cause me issues. So I'm at a point that, like I said, I'm ignoring them for the most part. I don't really care. I'm just streaming there. Whatever happens, happens. Because I know some people are going to have a problem because I use the word retarded, for example, on stream. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I don't care if nice stone lady uses the word faggot, for example. It doesn't bother me. In the sense that I'm not gonna censor chat. I'm not going to be overly sensitive about what I say and do. I'm just trying, within reason, in a conversation, because I'm trying to do political news and commentary. I don't see the need to be controversial. It is jannying things. They are jannying things. It is restricting what I'm doing on my channel when I'm not breaking any real rules. Yeah, as long as I don't say hydroxychloroquine. Oh, uh-oh. I said it. No, the point is this. They have all these rules that they don't apply consistently. That they don't even follow themselves. Well, listen, I don't care. You can't even say shit technically on YouTube. Did you know this? Well, all these copyright notices affect my account because you think that YouTube does not look at this sort of thing? If they see that there's an account that consistently kind of just is flippant about their copyright rules, yeah, there's not going to be any sort of monetization, which I don't even care about anyways. I've never tried to get monetized on YouTube, so it doesn't matter to me. But at the same time, they will look at your account activity and see how much, how flippant you are. I don't believe that. I don't believe that they don't care about the notices. I think they do care, because if they didn't care, they wouldn't put notices. Anyways, you're derailing my stream dispatch. The point that I was trying to talk about was talking about moderators and how these journalists are not acting as moderators. And even someone as idiotic as Anderson Cooper, for example, he was able to do a town hall. He was able to make it entertaining. He was able to engage with Trump, push back, but still keep it civil. Keep it as a conversation. He was actually laughing and having fun with it instead of being completely hostile. So Savannah Guthrie is an idiot. First of all, she's an unprofessional dirtbag, in my opinion. Demonetized channels don't get recommended. Yeah, so it does affect me. It is a penalty dispatch. If it wasn't a penalty, they wouldn't do it. Yes, she is a disgrace. Savannah Guthrie is a disgrace to that profession. Much like Chris Wallace was, and much like that whatever her face was in the, I don't even remember her name anymore. Was it Stephanie something in the second in the first and only vice presidential debate? Well, I had videos. I had one video completely removed. Yeah, but the problem is this, okay? When you have let's fine, let me just address this one more time. The problem is this. You have a platform that is arbitrarily applying rules, and they're applying them incorrectly too, because they're giving monetization to a record label for a song that is not theirs. Okay? So they're basically stealing money from a creator, giving it to a label that didn't even make that song, and somehow you're saying that I'm not being punished for that. And then the more hits I get in terms of notices, the less I get recommended. Listen, if I get less recommended because of notices, that's a penalty on me. I don't. Whether you interpret it that way or not, Dispatch, that's up to you. But if my reach is reduced due to the fact that I get all these notices, it matters to me. I'm not gonna deal with this bull crap from YouTube. That's the point. So instead of dealing with all this instead of doing all this nonsense that I gotta only play 2-second clips or not say certain words and just pretend play nice with YouTube, they do actually Dispatch. You just said they did, and other people on chat did, so you're wrong on that one. Oh, I'm sure Trump could do that. I'm sure Trump could create, like, he knows all these reporters. I mean, he's dealt with them before he was running for president. Well, I have my caffeine, Mom Patch. Hi, welcome to the stream, by the way, Mom Patch. I'm not mixing up anything. All I am saying, Dispatch, is YouTube are idiots. They are biased, and they keep pushing things onto people arbitrarily. That is what I'm saying, and I would rather just not deal with it. I'm restreaming there. I'm basically using it as kind of an archive, because what happens is when I stream to YouTube, it's supposed to archive it to library, lbry.com. That's the only reason why I use YouTube, honestly, is because I want my videos to get pushed over to library, which doesn't always happen if they're too long. But I am limited by it. I understand what you're saying, Dispatch, but I am limited by it. I'm limited because they control what a person can say and do. I'm limited because I actually had to change my intro. Because even if I'm not using the audio and I'm just looping an animation of 2001: A Space Odyssey, no, I can't even use that. I have to put that black box around it so so YouTube can't detect what I'm really showing. Well, because if I can use YouTube to grow, I'd like to. Just because, YouTube is an idiotic platform, and it makes it very difficult for creators to grow. I'm using it as an archive, yes. But at the same time, if YouTube would just stop being the idiot that it is and would let people do their thing, there is a chance for growth. There is a chance for this thing for my channel to gain followers and do more if YouTube would relax a little bit. So that's the only reason why I bother with it to an extent, because it's like, well, if I can grow on it, why not? That's why I stream to it, only for the reason that it's possible. It's not necessarily that I restrict myself, I just don't want to deal with it. I'd rather not play a song, or instead of putting so much all this extra effort into this production just to please them. It's more like a passive resistance thing. But anyways, this is a news and commentary stream, so I'm gonna go back to the news and commentary. I said my piece. I'm starting to repeat myself now, and I don't like repeating myself. So I'm going to just move along now. So more information is coming out about Hunter Biden, by the way. Tucker Carlson had yesterday, he dropped more emails, which showed even more of this ridiculous collusion, essentially, and corruption on the side of Biden. And there's more to come, apparently. But there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues there. There are a lot of issues there with this whole Hunter emails. I mean, this is really a big deal, and the fact that news outlets are ignoring this, it's stunning to me. It's stunning to me that the mainstream media is so in bed with the Democrats, and they're so corrupt that this is, if this happened to any other politician on the Republican side, especially Trump, but let's say it's any Republican politician, if this were to happen on the opposite side of the coin, people's hair would be on fire. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing to me. I'm in shock over this, to be honest with you. I really am. It doesn't make any sense at all to me. I mean, and I understand that there's a lot of liberals in the media industry. I understand there's a lot of people that have their own personal agenda. I get that. But when you're a journalist, don't you have any level of integrity at all? Isn't there any like professional ethic in you that goes, you know, as a journalist, this is a big story. I should address this. And I'm not even saying to do it in a way that you're attacking the Bidens or anything like that. Just talk about the facts. That's it. Why is that so complicated for reporters to do? I understand, again, that they have their biases. I understand that they have their agenda. But at the same time, I mean, come on. There is record low trust in the American media. And this is the reason for it. This is why people don't trust the news. Well, facts are boring, maybe, but facts are especially boring when they hurt your candidate. I think that's the biggest problem. It's not so much the fact that the facts are boring, because these are not boring facts. Pictures of a vice presidential son falling asleep with a crack pipe in his mouth? Gee, that doesn't sound incredibly boring to me, actually. I find that quite fascinating that you've reached that level of debauchery and degeneracy. That's really where it goes for me. They are rather salacious facts. That's true. That's very true. So I find that very, very interesting that the news that the mainstream media just ignores this stuff. It's it's just silly to me. It's just very silly to me. I really wish that the mainstream media would put on their adult pants and I really wish that they would start practicing some professional ethics. I think really that's what it boils down to. There's another news article here regarding Twitter that I want to talk about. Another stupid thing that I'm noticing here in the news is that Disney is updating content warnings for racism in classic films. Good lord. Can we just stop with this bullshit once and for all? I'm really, really tired of this post facto, we're so sensitive that we can't watch an old cartoon. Nonsense. I never looked at old cartoons with racial stereotypes and thought, oh geez, that's how Chinese people are. Or oh geez, that's how Italian people are. Oh geez, that's how black people are. I mean, come on. That is an insult to the intelligence of people. Alright? I don't watch a cartoon from the 1920s expecting to see iPads and cell phones and internet. Because back then it was a different world. Now, if people are that stupid, then by all means, they should just stop watching everything. Go live out in an island and live off the rest of your days in isolation as a hermit because you obviously don't deserve to live in society. Well, there are a lot of stereotypes, for example. Yeah, there are a lot of stereotypes. Especially for Italians. But yeah, there are a lot of stereotypes. Well, it already has backfired, Mom Patch. I mean, people are tired of this nonsense. People are tired of constantly having a finger pointed at their face. Saying, you're the bad guy, you're racist, you're terrible, you're a bigot, you're this, you're that. Most people are just people. Yankee Doodle Daffy, yeah. I think I know which one. Is that the one with when he sings the Carmen Miranda thing? Is that the one? Because if that's the one where he does like he's doing the audition for his nephew, isn't it? That's true, Dispatch, and that's what I mean. It's like, to me, I love that one. Yankee Doodle Daffy is probably one of my favorite Warner Brothers cartoons. There's so many good ones. Old Warner Brothers cartoons are probably one of the best stuff I've ever seen in my life. And yeah, boom, chicka boom, woo woo! When the sweetie down in Rio de Janeiro, she made the Cavalier to the love they can't resist. I'll let you in on a little secret overhead. I actually had that clip. I clipped it and I used it as my ringtone for a while. I may still have it on my phone. I may still have it on my phone. Hold on, let me see if I have it. I don't remember if I do. Yeah, oh, you know what? No, it's not on this phone. It's not on this phone, but I do have it. Oh, let's hold on. Let's see if I can. Oh boy, I don't know if I'm gonna remember the name. That's the problem. Because I gave it a particular name for the ringtone, so I would recognize it. Oh shoot, man! I wish I remembered the name of the ringtone that I mean, the name that I gave it, because I have just that clip. I'd love to play it right now on stream. If I find it, I'll play it. I'll let the thing my thing search for it. But no, I just love that. I love those cartoons. And I just, to me, like, I don't put that much weight into cartoons. And I don't really believe in censorship in that sense. Like, if you look at World War II cartoons, right? So you look at World War II cartoons. Hey, Magna Zero, welcome to the stream. Hail King. Oh, have a good day. Later. No, I mean, but what I'm saying is, like, World War II cartoons, where there was these cartoons that were like really razzing the Germans, razzing the Nazis, razzing the Japanese. You had racial stereotypes, and it was basically a lot of propaganda against the enemy. People would call those racist nowadays. In fact, a lot of them aren't even showed anymore because of that reason, because they're racially insensitive, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, I get that, but that was the point of them. It was to mock and make fun of the enemy. And I would watch it now, and I would never look at that and be offended, because it's something that, in the context of that time, it makes no sense to be offended by it now. There was a reason why they had those cartoons, for example, in the case of the World War II ones. I've even watched, like, the band Seven, for example. And sure, there's some pretty egregious racial stereotypes in there that some could deem quite offensive. How am I going to be offended on behalf of a dead dude? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, mocking the enemy became offensive. I know, that's the thing. It makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever when you actually sit down and think about it for a little while. No sense at all. Oh, the old Superman cartoons. Those are amazing. I love those. Yeah. Well, see, exactly. Mario could be deemed as offensive. Hey, if you guys remember, a long time ago, actually, Illustrator, I don't know if you were around back then, but when I first started streaming, I was doing a lot of tests. Just long-term streaming, just for hours upon hours upon hours. I played all of the Superman cartoons. I played all of those. So, I don't know, like, to me, I find it silly to be sensitive about, like, it's a logical fallacy to apply modern sensibilities to things that happened in the past. Because everything happens within a context. Everything happens within a context of the society at the time, the culture at the time, the sensibilities of the time, what was happening at the time. So the issue here to me is like, there's no way a person in 2020, for example, could say to someone in 1950, or 1940 or 1930 and say, you're an evil person because you enjoyed a cartoon that vilified the Japanese because they were killing Americans. And the key factor here is this. Guess what? Once the war was over, you didn't have such harsh cartoons towards the Japanese. Because that context was removed. That's exactly where I'm getting at, Mark. If you use that logical fallacy, it is very then easy to apply your sensibilities in the sense of you could apply that to every single thing that happened in the past, making everything wrong, everything racist, everything offensive, when that's not the case. When you eliminate nuance, fact, and reality, and context, you're doing a great disservice. You're doing a great disservice to what happened in history. Because, for example, I can't remember her name. I think it's Catherine something. This lady that talks about, how bad feminism is. And she talks about how men have also been the subject of discrimination. Talks about the what's it called, the Remington ride or something like that, where if a husband gets beat by his wife, he's the one that's humiliated, mocked, and things are he's paraded around town sitting in reverse on a donkey, and things are thrown at him. So it's that kind of thing. Is like, it's very easy to have blinders on and take one thing out of history and focus on this one thing and eliminate everything else. And when you do stuff like that, that's when you have a very skewed perspective of history, saying, well, they did this in history. So the same thing with like the 1619 Project and talking about slavery in America. A lot of people talk about slavery in the United States and they only focus on the fact that slavery existed in the United States. Well, guess what? That's not the only factor when it comes into slavery. Sure, slavery existed. Slavery did exist. But if you focus solely on the fact that there was slavery in the United States, you're taking out the entire global context of what slavery was, how it started, where it was, that it was global. And the United States, the colonies, and the founding fathers were one of the first, if not the first people that were actively trying to eliminate slavery and remove it as an institution. So it's very lazy. It's very lazy intellectually to just assume because there is one thing that you focus on in history, you take a look at just this one thing with blinders on, you don't look at everything else. It's intellectually lazy at the end of the day. Well, they lived within those times. They lived within that time. It's kind of like if you live in this, like, for example, let's look at what's happening with Twitter and the censorship that's happening online, right? And you're looking at Twitter and you're looking at Facebook, and we're living in a time of great peril to the First Amendment, to free speech and freedom of expression. So if you live within a period where controversial things happen and exist, which, guess what? If you live as a human being in any time in history, you're always going to live through some sort of controversy and some sort of injustice, because it's part of being a human being. It's part of being a human being. That's what it is. Simple. And that's the first thing that people need to recognize. And that's the biggest problem that a lot of people have, is that they don't want to admit to human nature. And that's one of the interesting things about Catholicism, which a lot of people criticize Catholicism for, to be honest with you. A lot of people criticize Catholicism because they're like, oh, Catholicism keeps saying, people are sinful, people are bad, people are this. Like, they always knock down human beings. They make people feel guilty. It's all about guilt. Actually, no. Catholicism, the beauty of Catholicism is that it recognizes the frailty of human morality. It recognizes that we fail sometimes. And that does not make us inherently evil. That's actually a beautiful thing to recognize. Like, listen, we understand you're not perfect, but there is redemption for you. There is hope for you. It's a very hopeful message, actually. A lot of people misconstrue that as just trying to make you feel guilty. But it's not just about feeling guilty about what you have done or not done, or in the case of human beings in the past. I don't view it as condescending at all. I think it's a beautiful thing to say, human beings, we cannot all be perfect. And human beings are subject to temptations, and many of those temptations, human beings, we fail to resist that temptation. And I think it's a nice message to say, despite the fact that our human nature makes it easy for us to fail, I don't think guilt is intrinsic to the religion. I think it's calling it Catholic guilt, or calling it guilt as part of the religion, to me is an oversimplification. I have never viewed the Catholic view on sin as a guilt thing. And plus, there's nothing wrong with guilt. Guilt is actually a good thing. It means you have a conscience. It means you're a human being. It means that you recognize right and wrong. It means you're an adult. So I don't think there's anything wrong with guilt, but the focus of the sinful nature of man from the Catholic Church is a recognition of it. It's just saying, listen, we recognize that human beings are not perfect. Human beings are not perfect. Which is why being a grown-up sucks. There are moments where it kind of does. I'm not gonna lie, but the point that I'm getting at, I'm kind of regurgitating, going around in circles. But the major point is this: to recognize human nature is to understand it, and to understand it means that you can move and improve and evolve from it. It's the same thing about when you go to Alcoholics Anonymous. I know, right, Steve Dave? Shit happens to Catholic Church. Basically, yeah, in a way, it kind of is that way. But I find it. I find it always fascinating. I find it always fascinating, though, that like, to me, it's a grown-up way of looking at humanity. Like I was saying, it's kind of like Alcoholics Anonymous. The first step to resolving a problem is to recognize that the problem exists. So if you just ignore human nature, like Marxism does, for example, and socialism, then you're not looking at reality. And that's absolutely true, Mark. The human condition can be found anywhere humans can be found. Oh yeah. Absolutely. But that's the thing. People need to understand human nature to an extent and accept it. And that doesn't mean you don't do anything about it. But in order to do something about it, you need to recognize it first. Simply oversimplifying it, like saying everything is racist and everything is sexist, for example, that's oversimplifying it is a big problem. You don't want to do that. That to me is where the big problem is. The big problem is when there's either this oversimplification or this gross ignorance about the nature of people. You know, and then there's just straight out dishonesty. That there's people that are just dishonest because they have their own personal agenda. So they purposely misconstrue human nature, and they purposely misconstrue people's behaviors in the past for their own purposes. I mean, you have people that just lie to you straight to your face no matter what happens. Like, take Joe Biden again, like going back into politics. Take Joe Biden and what happened in his town hall. I'm looking at a couple news articles about it because I want to actually sit down and listen to it when I get the chance, if I can. If not, I'll just kind of look through clips and get the point here. Like he said that he doesn't propose a banning on fracking, but he said he wants to remove all fossil fuels. That inherently means you're going to be banning fracking. So he's straight out lying to people. That is a straight out lie. Yet somehow it's okay for him to just BS people that way. Right? Or just ignoring all the stuff that's happening about his son and how the non-court stacking non-answer was that too. Multiple times he's been asked about packing the courts, and his response is, the Republicans are doing it now. No, they're not. They're filling a seat. That's constitutional. Everything that the Republicans are doing right now is within the bounds of the Constitution. The people don't need to know. They don't deserve. Not that they don't need to know, Mom Patch. They don't deserve to know, which is even worse to me. That's even worse in my book. But anyways. What's going on here? Sorry, just reading chat here for a moment. I think you guys are chatting to people outside of my stream chat because I have no idea what's going on. No, but essentially, like, to me, it's really frustrating to hear stuff like that. It's really frustrating to me because I'm someone who it's like I just want facts. And if you have politicians that are as shifty as Biden, I mean, criticize Trump all you want. Okay, criticize Trump all you want. But at the end of the day, at least with Trump, you know what you're getting. Trump has this earnest quality to him that he's just him. For good or for bad. You don't have people like Biden who pretend they're not who they are. I mean, Biden has a history of lying. This guy lied about his academics. He lied about his wife's death. He lied about this whole thing here with the fracking. He's lied multiple times on many a position. He's lying about his son, obviously. He lied about the Fine People hoax, which has been disproven over and over and over again. And it boggles my mind that there are people that still think that that's what Trump said. Watch the video. Watch the video, the whole thing. Don't just stop at that clip when he says there are fine people on both sides. Why don't you watch the whole thing? And this keeps going over and over and over and over and over. And Kamala Harris is doing the same thing. She lies over and over and over and over. And I get it that politicians, that's what politicians do. That's not shocking to me. But at the same time, it's like, you know what? At a certain point, people need to be held accountable. People need to be held accountable. This is getting to the point of stupid. But in terms of that, you know, we can put that aside for now, and I can do a little bit of some shameless self-promotion. Hey, if you enjoy me ranting and raving and talking about politics and getting derailed by dispatch, please consider supporting me. Buy me a coffee at ko-fi.com/theeternalabyss. I appreciate it, because if we don't have caffeine for our caffeine and news, then what's the point? Coffee. Yep, there you go. But if you don't want to buy me a coffee, if you prefer cryptocurrency, there's the address in my description in the videos. And certain platforms, it's not going to be on every one. Like you're not going to see it on Periscope. So go over to bitwave.tv/theeternalabyss. And I always blame dispatch. So you can also use the Ethereum address if you want to provide some crypto. If you want to instead donate some lemons on DLive, that's also an option too. There are multiple ways to support me, but really the best way to support me, if you really want to support me, is just follow. It's just share. It's just spread the good word. Help me gain followers and growth. That's really the best way. So please consider following me on all the different platforms that I'm on. Such as Twitter. They're on the screen there. You know, Twitter, Gab, Parlay, Minds, Float.app. And if you want to also support me on the different video platforms like YouTube, we're trying to get more engagement there. So support me on YouTube, subscribe and follow and hit the notification bell, because YouTube, they decide to notify you whenever they feel like it. So it's like, do what you can with YouTube, but follow me on all the other platforms as well. DLive, Periscope, Twitch, Bitwave, and Float.app, etc. So please consider following, and I really appreciate all the support you can give. At the same time, I think we're reaching the conclusion of this stream for today. We'll check you guys out again on Monday, hopefully. So hopefully on Monday we'll be able to see each other again at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll keep you posted in case things change. because there's always stuff that's happening in my life that may affect to whether I can stream or not. Sometimes like I said, I'm not a morning person. Sometimes I just get up too late, and by the time I get around to taking care of everything I need to take care of, it's already past stream time. So so I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope you have a great weekend, and as always, kids, remember, I'm gonna sign off as I usually do here. Remember, kids, don't be complacent. We need you to go out there. Trump was talking about a red wave. We need to make that happen. We really, really do. We need the House to flip red. We need to get rid of Nancy Pelosi, that nutter butters. We need to make sure that the Senate stays red, and we also need to make sure that Trump gets another 4 years. So get out there. Don't be complacent. Vote, vote, vote. Do what you got to do. And this is not a call for violence. Stop that. But people do need to be held accountable for their actions. You know, it's high time politicians are held liable for their actions when their actions result in bad things happening. And I'm talking about like civil legal action or criminal in some cases. Journalism as well. They need to be held liable for what they write and what they report. Things of that nature. So I'm signing off. Have a good day, kids. Don't be complacent. I will see you Monday.